I'm Marla Hamlin, and I'm a double lung transplant recipient, 6 years post August 1st, 2011, and I had a rare women's only lung disease called lymphangioliomyomatosis, LAM for short. August 1st at 7:30 on a Monday morning, I got the call. Of course, it's a hurry up and wait type of thing, and I don't remember that day. My mom and my sister said all I did was talk on the phone, get on the laptop, but I don't remember that day. I went in about 2:30 that afternoon. My most vivid memory of that day was nothing. I did have a long surgery from what they told me, 12 hours, because I had had 6 years of lung collapses beforehand. So I understand that it took 4 hours total of scraping out my old lungs. So my surgery was long. I did experience lots and lots and lots of hallucinations. I was on morphine for a long time. And so I was in ICU about 4 days, and I will tell you that I had a lot of paranoia of having a male nurse that I thought was against me, and I kept telling my sister-in-law that could they please, I felt he had put a sign up that said I was bad, and could they please change the sign? But all it said was, please be quiet, she's sleeping. So, it was just a long time in the hospital because getting used to the mask of wearing that, I felt very claustrophobic. One of the things that lung transplant patients have to do is they have to walk 1,000 feet with a physical therapist before they start getting on the treadmill. And what's ironic is once you get into your own room, they bring the treadmill into your room. And since I had exercised so much beforehand, which I'll talk about, I couldn't even do 2 minutes on the treadmill. So I asked the respiratory therapist to tell me about their lives because I needed someone to talk while I did the treadmill. So that was really hard for me. I was in the hospital for 3 weeks, which usually people average about 2 weeks. But for me, being in the hospital for 3 weeks helped me just to recover better. And then since my husband and I were living with a friend, I had to do stairs from day one. And I think that really helped my legs get stronger. Now, before my transplant, I was on 15 liters of oxygen for 2.5 years, and that's how long I waited. But that's just because I wanted perfect, pristine lungs, and I did not have the virus that most people do have, and I had asked for negative lungs, so I had a longer wait too. But the big thing was I was exercising at 3.4 miles per hour, and they would put me on a non-rebreather, and they could turn it up to 30 liters or more. And I would do 3.4 miles per hour for 30 minutes. Then I'd do an airdyne bike for 15 minutes, and then I'd do the weights. I didn't retain carbon dioxide, which the lung transplant patients listening to this will understand. But after transplant, I couldn't even do 2 minutes at 0.5. That's how weak I got. So my goal was to do 3.4 miles per hour for 30 minutes with no oxygen. And I did achieve that in 3 months. That was my goal. What I recommend to pre-transplant patients is exercise, exercise, exercise. I don't care, there's no excuse. I was on 15 liters for 2.5 years, and I exercised every day. I don't care how bad I felt, I got on there. Sure, if you got sick and had a respiratory infection, of course you don't exercise. But I was blessed that when I got diagnosed with LAM, that my pulmonologist put me in a pulmonary rehab program, and on the days I didn't go, I would walk. And that got me stronger. So I was in pulmonary rehab from 1999 on, and I would not stop exercising. So I was the strongest I could ever be before transplant. And then after transplant, I have not stopped exercising. I try and eat healthy when I can, and I try and take care of these lungs because I want to be around for a long time. So pre-transplant, exercise, 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 take care of your body. When you're done with your transplant, exercise, 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 take care of your body, because that's what you're given a second chance at life. And there's nothing like it. And you learn to appreciate little things even more. And who cares about material things? You're given a second chance. I did hear from my donor family around my 3rd year. His name is Wayne. He was 60. And yes, I do have male lungs. And I love to tell people, yes, I'm a female with male body parts. And they all look down there. And then I tell them that I'm a double lung transplant recipient. So life is awesome. Life is great. I tell the people I mentor, please write down goals of things you want to do after transplant. Because when you're feeling down and blue and don't want to do things, look at those goals and say, this is why I'm doing it. This is what I want to live for. This is what I want to do after transplant. Because you're going to have rough days. I started the lung transplant evaluation 10 years before I ever got my lungs. And I used to get very angry at the Barnes transplant team because I'd go in for a reevaluation and they'd say, Marla, you're not bad enough. I did have to lose 30 pounds before then. And I'd be on 6 liters and they'd say, Marla, you're not bad enough. Well, I thought I was dying. Then I'd go in and I'd be on 8 liters and they'd say, Marla, you're not bad enough. Well, now I get it. I'm so grateful for the extra 10 years that I had before transplant, because we don't know how long we'll last after transplant. But I don't look at statistics at all. I mean, I have 6 extra years. If I go tomorrow, I just tell people I'll beat you to heaven. I don't care. Life is just great. I get to do things with my grandkids I never thought I'd get to. My husband and I are enjoying life now that, we never thought we'd get to. So every day is a gift.